By entering this plea, you're waiving your right to a trial by jury. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Breaking here at 4, you just heard the surprise guilty plea to first-degree murder by the woman dubbed the killer grandma. Lois Riess admitted to the crime just a few hours ago. And with this plea, she avoids the death penalty. Riess killed Pamela Hutchinson in her condo on Fort Myers Beach last year. She then drove through several states, stopping at casinos before U.S. Marshals caught her in Texas. We have team coverage tonight. We start with Wink News reporter Janae Muchmore, who was in the courtroom when Riess pleaded guilty. Janae?
Bob, that guilty plea comes a year and 8 months after deputies were first called out to Marina Village condo complex. This is where it all happened, room 404. Deputies found the body of Riess's victim, Pamela Hutchinson, and today Riess admitted to killing her, stealing her car and her identity, and accepted a sentence of life behind bars.
Just being present, she would withdraw any previously entered plea of not guilty and pleas of guilty.
Lois Riess, the woman who grabbed nationwide headlines as the killer grandma, spoke softly, even hiding her face a little in court today.
Where were you born?
Rochester, Minnesota.
How far did you go in school?
11th grade.
But the biggest takeaway, her admission to the courtroom that she murdered Pamela Hutchinson.
During the commission of said offense, did carry, display, use, and did actually possess a firearm, discharge a firearm, and as a result of the discharge, did cause the death of or great bodily harm to Pamela Hutchinson. Do you admit that?
Yes, ma'am.
That happened in April 2018. The scene of the crime, the Marina Village condos. One of Hutchinson's last moments alive was captured on surveillance video at the Smoke and Oyster Brewery. And sitting right next to her at the bar is the same woman we saw in court today.
Lois Riess.
Your date of birth?
2/28/62.
Riess admitted to stealing Hutchinson's identity, credit cards, car, and hat, things she used to book hotels during her escape to Texas. And one thing Tuesday's admission ensures:
having a conversation with the defense attorneys about what appeared to be her willingness to plead guilty and understand that she would never get out of prison.
Riess will spend the rest of her life behind bars.
We feel this is an appropriate resolution to an awful case.
With that guilty plea, the state has taken back their admission to trying to use the death penalty against this case in Lois Riess. But it is important to note Lois Riess is facing charges back in her hometown in Minnesota for the death of her husband. And depending on what happens with those charges will determine whether she spends that sentence down here in Florida or serves that sentence back home in Minnesota. Live on Fort Myers Beach, Janae Muchmore, Wink News. Now.